Okay, I'm making sure Yes, I didn't want to be sending game audio to my recording. Okay, wonderful.
Why
oh
not?
my gosh.
I had like dog record. I had dog background one time.
That was great.
The squeakers.
The squeakers. It was so perfect.
Timed exactly for the silences.
Yep.
Anyway, you've done it again. You've repeated your mistake, dear listener, and you found yourself listening to the Loose Screws podcast. This is the 262th episode. And for me, it is the 27th of November in 2024.
33010.
33010.
And that's not our music. Oh, yikes.
This Loose Screws theme song brought to you by John Philip Sousa.
Well,
I'm more of a Copeland man.
Well, as it happens, I am joined today by Audaxius.
Hi.
And Blooming Wind.
Hello.
And Oblivious.
I'm having a Black Friday sale on technical core chips. Cheap.
Everything must go. And I'm Commander J on Tracks. I don't say my name anymore, I realized. And I don't know if that's important. It's certainly not important to me that anyone knows my name.
Everyone knows you.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Well, we've had quite a day, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Quite a day.
Quite a day. Well, I guess as is typical, we should catch up. Let's set the scene. Let's set our scene. I want to start down at the bottom with Oblivious. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just got back Tuesday from early Thanksgiving celebration. Went to Savannah to join my daughter and son-in-law, and my brother-in-law and his family drove up, and we celebrated Thanksgiving in the traditional way. Lots of wine, lots of good food, good turkey. Got back late Tuesday. Then today went out and spent 4 hours raking the yard, and then it took all of an hour for it to look like I hadn't been raking it at all. And tomorrow we'll do another turkey. We'll go up and get my mom. Got a turkey in the brine just a few hours ago, and we'll smoke it up and have a smaller scale celebration tomorrow. How about you, Bloom?
Oh, so me. Well, today my one of my echo techs and one of my nurse were exposed to tuberculosis.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so this was like really absolute great moments in hospital management.
Oof.
So there was a patient that was on respiratory isolation, and somehow it wasn't flagging anywhere in the electronic medical record. And so the nurse, so we call for the patient for an echo, and the nurse says, "Hey, he's kind of frail. Can we just bring him in his bed?" And so we put him in the procedure room, right? And so we do the echo in the procedure room. And so instead of one of the echo rooms, because echo rooms are a little bit small. And so, they're wrapping up the echo. And to do an echo, I mean, you're like right there in the patient's face as he's coughing up a lung all over you.
Yep.
Yep. And so when the nurses came back and said, This guy has tuberculosis. What's he doing over here?" And my team was like, "What the heck?" And so they finished up the echo. Everybody put on masks, got him back to his negative pressure room, and then we had to nuke the room. And so they had these robots that
Like from orbit?
No, not from orbit.
It's the only way to be sure.
This was a ground level nuke, and so we bring in this device. It looks like R2-D2, but purple. And then it irradiates the entire room with like UV and X-rays and gamma rays.
Yeah.
And, like every kind of like possible ray you could possibly imagine. Kill any form of pestilence.
Oh my.
Yeah.
This must be an expensive device.
It's expensive R2-D2.
It's a very expensive R2-D2. Anyway, so then they had pretty much had to wipe everything down and all that afterwards. But it was just like, really? Because like I do everything in my power to make sure that if anyone is on any form of respiratory precautions, that my sonographers only do the necessary echoes. Because, we got residents and they order like an echo every time someone farts. And so it's just like 90% of them are unnecessary.
I mean, me too. I totally understand that.
Yeah,
if they fart, do they do the echo on the other end, or what? How's that work?
Yeah, they did the echo on the other end. But no, it's just
my farts echo all the time.
they order so many unnecessary echoes. It's not even funny. I mean, it keeps us in business, but it's completely drives me crazy. So we really try to screen the respiratory isolation ones to make sure that they're necessary and can't be deferred until, and like when it's like TB, it's like, no, we're not doing that one unless, it's
help us, Purple One. You're our only hope.
Exactly. So
wow.
So that was my staff today, and then in game, I've been fighting in the Howard War, which we'll talk about, and the last couple of nights I ended up falling asleep before I could actually take off, so I didn't fly the last 2 nights.
Sleep on the landing pad.
Sleep on the landing pad. I was that tired. So that was my week.
Right.
Great.
All right. Adaxius.
Yeah. Point of fact, in an earlier life, which feels like 18 lifetimes ago, in the recession, the only job I could get was as a janitor in a hospital. I was the guy who scrubbed up a tuberculosis patient room.
Did you wear purple?
That was the sickest individual I have ever seen in my life. I felt so bad for the guy. Yeah, it looked like you would think it was that bad.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Anyway,
horrible disease.
Horrible disease. Anyway, that was 10 lifetimes ago. I am no longer a janitor. I am now the thorn in your guys' side.
True.
So I'd like to think I've upgraded. No, I had a great week. I have been.
I like to think we've upgraded.
I'd like to think the world's a better place for my being in it. So don't ruin my illusion. I have been.
You mispronounced delusion.
Oh well, there you go. I do what I can. No, I have been loving it. I have been playing the game. I have been finding the next possible. It's not an exploit, but it almost feels like one. I can talk about when we get to power play. It's not.
Well, don't spoil
it. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it.
Don't.
Anyway,
tell
I made a lot of merits move this week, and in preparation for Thanksgiving, I was telling Bloom before the show, my Thanksgiving is going to be what I call the life and death of the American holiday, which is where your day consists of driving from place to place to place to fulfill a social obligation and not actually ever really celebrate anything. So, yeah, it happens when you have a lot of family and a lot of people that expect you to be places. So I try not to let holidays turn into that, but alas, this Thanksgiving will be me driving from place to place to place and not really celebrating the holiday at all. So that's cool.
Yuck.
Yeah. Well, next year will be different. Next year we won't celebrate Thanksgiving at all.
It's canceled.
Yeah.
Next year we'll make our own Thanksgiving with blackjack and hookers.
This is fascinating. My wife in her 4th grade class had the kids write an essay about Thanksgiving to try to. It's a whole critical thinking thing, like, what's the actual reasons for this, blah, blah, blah. And she has a kid turn in what she described as probably the most interesting essay from a 4th grader in her teaching career, where this 4th grader went into depth about how Thanksgiving is a racist holiday that celebrates the subjugation of America's native people, and that his family, in very clear terms, will not be celebrating it.
Yeah.
So, wow. I would love to talk to that kid's parents.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah. No, you really would not want to talk to that kid's parents.
It was very funny. She's like, this 9-year-old seems to have very strong opinions.
Yep.
So yeah, I had a good week. What about you, JN Tracks?
Oh man. Working a lot, but nothing interesting. The most interesting thing I think I did was really kind of gave the ergonomics of my whole flight system here at the computer a little once over and a tweak. And the stick mounts are lower, and the chair's a little bit more situated. Feels a little bit more like the way you sit in a car. I was a little too upright before. And yeah. So that's nice because I've done a couple of elite elite flying sessions. I also moved quite a few merits, although not as many as you, I assume.
I've seen you on the friends list.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I had to, well, I went and tried out some of these power conflicts, and that's all right. It's pretty good. As far as I can tell, there is no reason that you have to take the thing through to Battle 1 condition. You're just there killing ships and earning merits. It's basically just a place where you don't have to look for power kills. As far as the merits are concerned, of course, you are contributing to the conflict, as long as you're pledged to one of them. But it's very long. It's not. They only seem to be mediums. They honestly don't feel even as difficult as regular CZs as far as what's there. It's like at least in the Archer, the versus Archer one that I was in. Or no, I'm sorry. I don't think it was Archer. Delane doesn't have any direct conflicts with Archer. Anyway, I forget who it was, but some other power, a lot of DBXs and some other stuff. Kind of.
Is it kind of like a massacre mission type thing?
No, it's like a conflict zone. I mean,
so it's got progress bars?
It has progress bars. It's got red and green progress bars. Spec ops and propaganda vessels joined at one point. So those scenarios proc the same as the others, as regular CZs. There is no sign up. You come in and like, if you're pledged, then some of the ships will be green and some will be red. And if you're not, I assume everybody will be yellow or whatever. And you'll have to be careful who you shoot, perhaps.
Have the only CZs you've been in ones that what your pledge is fighting in?
Yes, because the other detail is I can only get them to work in solo. I have dropped in open to some other ones when I was originally first looking around, and I couldn't get anything to happen. So I was like, well, these are bugged. And then since then, I've heard people saying, oh, no, they work. They just don't work in open. And so this time I went and found one. And sure enough, I checked in open because you should always fly in open. And I checked in open and it wasn't working. I think I checked in private group too, and it still wasn't working. And then I switched to solo and all the ships spawned in. So like, okay, all right, well, I guess that's a thing, which I think absolves me because as a member of Archon Delane's power play, we only fly in open, and there's a very honor among thieves thing. Like they will, there is a very strict set of rules to be part of Archon Delane's whole system there. And yes, you kill people and pirate people with ruthless impunity, and they are not afraid to steamroll player BGS factions who do not quote unquote bend the knee, and will happily tell you stories about when they have done so. However, if you attack or attempt to pirate another Archon Delane pledge, that's a violation of the rules. If you do any form of combat logging, cheating, leveraging of exploits of any kind, or flying power play in solo, or to say not in open, they will do a kill on sight order for you. And they will find you. That is the only time that they will kill another Archon Delane pledge, because you're basically worse than the scum who aren't Archon Delane pledges at that point, because you're basically trying to play a trick on them. And in fact, apparently some people have pledged to Archon Delane in order to try to protect themselves, and these are the worst of the worst. And
wow,
they get gank orders from these people. So anyway, it's kind of a fun Discord to be in, but. As far as role plays are concerned, this is only confirming that this is obviously the power play for me, because, whatever. This is a game, right? For people
you've been called out before.
Smile at the process.
Yeah, you've been called out before and required to.
You mean the
honor to log back in and let someone blow you up?
The dingus at AXI.
That was a classic.
You are honor bound to give me my kill.
Oh God!
Yeah. Well,
I wish I could see that guy's face when it was pointed out to him that he killed a player during an Anti-Xeno op.
Yep.
Attempted to kill a player and failed horribly.
I take back everything bad I said about Delane. Yeah, that is actually pretty cool. Yeah.
We all wear.
I think it's pretty cool. So I mean, you talk about like people doing power play, which is a PvP system. exclusively so, and doing it in solo or not doing it in open is I think playing Elite in general, like solo's there for people who want to use it, and that's fine. You play your game, but power play is a PvP system, so I kind of agree.
Well,
if you're doing it in solo, and people do, so they basically have a bunch of stuff about here we appear to have a system a system where we're being resisted by people hiding in solo, so go get them, and they're not going to resort to it, but they'll put up whatever they can. So anyway, I don't know. It's a shame that I have to move away from like what is our home space in order to do it.
It's not that far.
But whenever there's stuff I can do with y'all, I will. And I'm definitely hanging around. As far as Archon space is concerned, I'm hanging around the corner of it that's near Antal, because that's the method that I could, if I could at all influence them toward the screw space, I will. Of course, it's not good. Y'all aren't going to be happy with that. If Archon ever gets there, it's just going to be more conflicts. But
it's that
whatever. That's what the game is for, right?
It's that Avengers movie where they fought each other. What was that?
Yeah, that's right.
Civil War.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where everybody just catchphrased at each other and then threw a car.
You'll bring your crown of bones, and I'll bring my crown of a series of agreements and policies negotiated and debated at length to the eventual but not complete satisfaction of all.
That sounds great.
And we'll see who wins.
And I'll bring my crown of trust funds.
Well, on this wonderful trust funds, nice. On this wonderful episode, we will have, what do we have? We'll have a squad update. This section here, this is not happening. Daxie's speech, nope, that's old. These notes are partially
updated.
Have a
speech prepared.
There's
Damn,
no
I was
Daxie's
hoping for
speech.
another one.
Delete that from the notes. Quick catch up on things, and then we've got the big FU info that piled in. So we've got stuff. So
Lots to talk.
any last words before I push into squadron update? There is not.
So let
There's
it be
not.
So let it be done.
So let it be done. Tell me about what is going on in Screwspace in some kind of non-power play capacity.
Alrighty. Do I get a musical intro?
I didn't open that. I didn't open
We have
that
to
tab, but I could.
Let me do the music. I do it every week
all right,
anyway.
All right. You do the music.
Squadron update.
Alrighty. So the Li Yang Rui section of Screwspace continues to overheat. The war in Howard is the only war we care about, and we're winning 2-1. There's an election in BD plus 67-1409, which we care about less, but we care about it. All the other conflicts we really don't care about. We expanded from Maikoro to Anu today, and that took a Herculean effort from folks. We realized we were expanding to Kalarum, and we immediately pushed a faction into retreat in Anu, and they vacated the premises just in time for us to expand there. So it was a perfectly timed maneuver. Thank you to everybody who helped us with that. And then Soma, we have the highest influence in that system in the high 40s, but we're not in control. So we're going to try to push ourselves up to 60% and trigger a control war via an arcane BGS mechanism where if you hit 60% and you're the highest ranked faction, it triggers a war for control. And so even rather than just have to bump into another faction. So we're going to try to trigger that mechanism. It's weird. It's arcane, but we're going for it. And then the rest of the details of the standing orders are in the standing orders channel. And if you want to talk BGS, we have a Loose Screws faction channel in the Discord.
The dark side of the BGS leads to many strategies that some would consider unnatural.
And this is one of them.
Apparently.
Yep.
Hey, I just was flying this Mandalay around my carrier while we chit chat, and I realized, the thrust vectoring, the two engines that twist all around.
Mm-hmm.
The roll axis is
backwards.
No, all the axes are backwards. I'm trying them all now.
Yeah, someone put it as an issue on the issue tracker.
They're inverted.
Yeah, that's an issue in the issue tracker.
They basically they burn in the direction that I'm turning instead of in the opposite direction that would cause me to turn. What the hell? I just happened to look at it because there's several ships a lot of ships do this. The Courier has little nozzles. Even the Type 9 has lots of ships have little bit of thrust vectoring built into their model. And hold on, I'm going to land and go check out to see which ones. All right. Anyway, we're going to go through my list and see if I can find other ones that are messed up. So, Galnet. The only thing that happened in Galnet was a couple of days ago. Aegis urges high alert for anti-Xeno forces, and then of course they sassed us with more of that on the stream today. So they're really saying something. If you think the Thargoids are gone and done, you just watch out.
No, I said it earlier. It's just Frontier urges player base to not forget about Thargoid War.
But I'm telling you, tomorrow is an update. So
it is an update.
I believe something will happen, but the Thargoids aren't going to go away. But I don't know. It remains to be seen. I guess I'm not scared that this Titan's not gonna. It's gonna. Well, I don't know. I guess they've done that before. It's just like, all this teasing. Just show us, man.
Yeah.
Why do we need these alerts?
Another Emperor gift from Arf.
Yeah, exactly.
So cool.
On that note, Cocijo controls one Titan. Nice. These notes rule.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of right there in the name, isn't it?
Controls one Titan, 0 alerts or invasions, and 25 control systems. 2 are populated, and 1 has an Odyssey settlement. So, not long for this galaxy.
Current case says 2 weeks to vulnerability.
Yeah, more than 1 week. So, all right. Well, that puts us into December a little bit. We're gonna have a new ship by then. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then that brings us then to FU, and I forgot to go find a link. Somebody remind me before I publish the podcast to find a link to the YouTube replay. But anyway. Okay, so Elite got a big healthy showing of information, and I frantically wrote it all down, and the bits that I missed because Zach was talking too fast, psykit on her own noticed me missing things and complaining about it in Twitch chat and just forwarded me the information that I missed. So very much thanks to
Thank you, Claire,
for fixing me.
That's funny. It's just like this idiot. He doesn't get this info. Let's help him out.
It was like seconds. I was like, wait, please, I missed the core module, or I missed the optional modules. And like seconds later, I get a Discord message. Hero. Anyway, so Cobra Mark V, which by the way is due to release. Due to release because things change and shift around. But December 10th is the day they're looking at, coming right up. Very quick. So that'll be Arc Store stuff as per usual, blah, blah, blah. They showed off some paint jobs. It is a small ship. Correction. Yeah. It is a small ship. They said the wrong thing.
Yeah. I was bummed.
I think this is better. Yeah. I mean,
I was looking for a competitor to the Great Mark II in the Python.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But small ships rule. And
they are, yeah. I'm getting
this one looks like it's
I have the
gnarly.
arcs already bought. I'm not saying I'm not getting it. I was just slightly bummed.
I agree with that. When it was a medium, I was like, we'll see what things look like when we get some more info. And when they said it's a small, I was like, I mean, there's basically a 99% chance that this is getting bought on day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'll run it down. So it's a 3-seater in a small. As far as I know, that's never happened before. 3-seater small ship.
That is the first.
There's a point. The cockpit's supposed to be so great. Does have the downward facing window in the front. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
SCO, blah, blah. It's aiming to be the best small multi-role ship. It has hardpoint configuration is 3 medium, 2 small, 4 utility. Which apparently and I didn't even remember this, but the other Cobras only have 2 utilities. I didn't realize this because it's a pretty good size for a small ship. Optionals. Yeah. There's a 5. There are 3 4s, 3 3s. And I'm losing my syntax here. 1 2 and 2 1s.
God,
that's
heaven.
Hard to,
no one's gonna.
I know. Whatever.
That's
you gotta look it up on your own.
That's 112 tons of cargo if all you did was cargo racks.
Yeah,
it can be a legit small ship cargo hauler,
mm-hmm.
or have a size 5 booster, or have a size 5 shield on a small ship.
I just want to call up. So I'm just gonna open up like what Cobra Mark III has for internals. 3 4s, 3 2s, and 2 1s. So they're turning 2 of the size 2s into and trading those for a size 5. That's basically what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's big.
Yeah. It's the biggest small ship.
It's that's going to be incredible for multi-role. The cores are all size 4s except for life support and sensor. Notably, the power distributor on the Cobra Mark III is only a size 3. So that is going to be awesome. Multi-roles need a big distributor.
Yeah.
And then, that's it. That's all the info. What do you think?
I think they got my money.
Yep, already spent.
I've spent, I think hold on, the game tells you what ship you've spent the most time in somewhere in the codex.
Does it?
Yeah. I won't do the whole on air. Oh, let me find it. But I know mine says Cobra Mark III because I legit love that ship and I've spent a ton of time in it. All the Odyssey stuff that I've done did in the Cobra Mark III. So I'm absolutely shelling out for the Cobra Mark V. I think the design is great and they've got my money already. So we'll see how it is come December 10th.
Absolutely.
Yep.
No, it looks like a good ship. I mean, a lot can be done.
What do you
with
want, right?
I mean, I don't know what more I could want in a small ship.
We need to go ahead and schedule the Piranha night with it.
Yes.
Is it fair to schedule a Piranha night when it's only available for arcs?
Oh yeah, and you have to wear a top hat and a monocle when you play.
Pay to swim.
Pay to swim.
Swim.
Adult swim.
That's a great slogan for Piranha Squad.
I love it.
And it's got to be a stronghold carrier. We have yet to Piranha Squad assault the stronghold carrier.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pay to swim.
That's so awesome.
That's really good. Yeah. Just for like aesthetically alone, I would have bought the ship, but even though it was small, I was really happy to see the internal. It's like the Type 8. They're pushing the boundaries. The Type 8 is the biggest cargo capacity of any medium ship. This will be the potentially biggest cargo capacity of the smallest ship.
Well, it's just, I mean, as a multi-role, I mean, sure, its biggest cargo capacity, that usually aligns with having the most slots, but having a large quantity of slots, even if they are not themselves large slots, is what usually makes for a good multi. I mean, that's what made the Mandalay end up being like a good, for a lightweight multi-role. It's really really great because there's just so many different slots, even if they're not all the biggest. Yeah. So, anyway, okay. Update on thrust vectoring. The Courier, I slightly so the Courier only has little moving parts when you do the yaw, and they are oriented correctly. So they counter to the direction of thrust. So, okay. Anyway, I'll land and try another ship in a second.
Good job, Nehemiah.
What else was announced? The Mandalay gets a midnight paint job. Now, I thought I had seen that they were also going to get the Void Black, but I don't think he said that on stream. They are both coming?
They are both coming. I saw it written somewhere, but he did not
that's
say
what
it
I
on
thought
the stream.
too.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to get the Void for my Mandalay. I was going to get it
like
originally,
Void.
But yeah, so.
I like Void a lot. All right, so those should be probably coming tomorrow, I think, or something like that. They should be coming right out. Helps if you put the landing gear down. Okay, trying to podcast and fly. What else is coming? Gold, golden, chrome, and chromed.
Just a bunch of shiny stuff.
are all returning, because everybody's always like when some of those come back, it's always like, oh, but that's not the one I prefer because they're subtly different or something. Anyway, all 4 types are coming back. Great job.
Yeah, so chrome is the mirror finish, and chromed is the brushed finish. So,
okay.
and if you
a
haven't
little less shiny of all things.
Yeah, and if you've gotten the wrong one, you've played the game enough. So all of us have gotten the wrong one at some point.
I don't think I ever got any of those. The only one that's slightly like that I ever went and bought was Iridescent Gleam, which was this one that it looks, if it's not lit very much, it looks like chrome, like it's very shiny, but it reflects in like it reflects like the colors that are on the opposite side of the ship. It's like physically impossible, but it like reflects through the ship. So basically, like I have a picture of my Cobra with it superimposed against the glowing green gas giant planet, and it's reflecting green away from the planet. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's a weird thing. It's like computers. What are you gonna do?
It's like the thrust vector on the Mandalay. It's in the wrong direction.
It's in the wrong direction.
It's the same code. They just copied and pasted.
Right. Now, if you fly a chromed ship far enough, does it become chromed?
If it wears off. I don't know anything.
Mm-hmm. Who does?
Okay. Type 8 runner ship kit. Type 8 gets a new ship kit. This one seems to kind of smooth out the roughness and the more. It's almost like it makes it less industrial looking, which maybe is a good choice on their part.
Did they show a picture of that?
They did.
They did.
Look
I don't
smoother?
have one.
It looked longer and leaner.
It's ship kit parts, but yeah, it's sort of like it's like covers for some of the stuff that has like exposed piping and things like that.
Mm.
And your canopy has a bill, like a baseball cap, like a baseball cap bill, you know, like a duck bill, like right on top of it. So
bizarre.
That was kind of it was bizarre. I mean, unless I'm going to a real sunny planet.
With make elite great again letters all across the top.
God. I mean, it was red. It was red.
A real sunny planet.
Oblivious. I may have to get that now, thanks to you.
Oh my God.
Jesus. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So then Piers Jackson comes on. He is the game director of Elite Dangerous, and
it's his fault.
He talks about some stuff and some things, and then colonization, and they just run down. And I feverishly typed all this stuff into the notes. Somebody take it from here. Tell me about colonization. I mean, I know about it because I watched the thing.
I did not watch the thing. Yeah. I'm not your man.
I'm your man because I'm really excited about colonization.
Okay, yeah, I thought you'd jump in, but then you didn't say anything. So,
well, it's like hoping for the warm handoff, but
well, maybe Bloomingwind would like to tell me about this.
Yes,
over to you with the weather.
Why, thank you, Trax. So, all right, so colonization. So they're going to basically allow players to, colonize empty systems, and the way that the mechanism is going to work is that there are contacts at every inhabited system. And so you go to a claim contact, and then you can stake a claim on any empty system within 10 light years of that system. And then you have 24 hours to go to the claim beacon, and then you get to work building a primary starport. And they haven't gone into the details of building the primary starport, but it's pre-positioned, and
you get to pick from a set of positions.
Yeah,
a set of pre-selected positions.
Right.
I think that's what he said.
Yeah. So, and then a construction ship will arrive, and then, after about a week, it turns into a starport, and then with limited activity, and then it'll be fully active. And then you have to do your thing at that point. But an individual can only have one system at a time. So once you've colonize a system, then you can colonize your next one, and then you can colonize your next one. So it'll probably be a couple of weeks between cycles. But then once you have a system, you can then build ground bases, you can build other starports, anything that you can put in a system, you can put in, basically, is from what they said. But it's going to cost materials, and then you're going to have to make rational economic decisions. And I think this is exciting because, rather than having to, as they talked about the supply chain of bringing materials out to your new colony and eventually set of colonies, if you have kind of a diverse background, so like you have a mining system and you have a refinery system and then you have an agriculture system, you can really build a dynamic trade network so you don't have to shuttle things very far. So I'm actually really excited about the whole colonization concept. The tricky thing is, the one thing that I was wondering about that they didn't say very clearly was, if you want your player miner faction to be in that new colony system, does the colony broker, do you have to have control of the system that the claim contact is in? So
that was my read, because he said basically the faction that, I don't think he exactly spelled it out. You're right, but it was like the faction comes with you when you colonize.
Yeah.
So that has to be the controlling faction from the origin system, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
has to be.
Yeah. So from our standpoint, if we want to colonize outside the bubble, we have to be, from wherever we start, either jumping 10 light years at a time, which is going to take a while, or we have to prepare and get to the edge of Screwspace, or get to the edge of the bubble. And so we are about 70 light years from the edge of the bubble in semichemits. And so,
well, geez, you can move faster with BGS. Factions can move faster than colonization can, doubly fast, right? Roughly
about that. And you can go farther. That's the whole thing.
Well, right. I guess that's what I really meant.
Yeah, because you can go about 20 light years, and it takes about 10 to 14 days. And any cycle of the colonization, I'm estimating, would take at least 2 weeks before you're ready to do the next cycle. So
yeah, because you have to build up enough infrastructure to support what's there before it can support expanding further down the line.
Right.
Have enough economy and stuff.
I bet that 10-year limit is one of the first things that changes.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think they said something about having a beta that they'll need to fine tune, but they're looking at 10 years is what they're sort of planning on. Interjection, the Type 9 thrust vectoring is correct. It doesn't do it for yaw, but it does it, it doesn't do it for roll, but it does yaw and pitch, and it's correctly angled. But the most interesting part is the forward thrust makes the engines protrude straight out backwards. It looks super goofy. Okay, go about your business.
Back to business.
This minor graphical update is brought to you by Jantrax.
So they may decide to make it bigger, because I think one of the problems you're going to see is that the bubble is about 400 light years in diameter. So, there are factions that are in the middle, and if they want to kind of colonize far away, if they want to get out of the bubble and colonize, and they're actually attached to their PMF, then they're going to be very frustrated. They're going to be more frustrated than we are, because we only have, like I said, I consider 70 light years spitting distance. So,
it's going to get into how much do you want? You're going to have to maintain that chain, aren't you?
Well, I think,
are we just going to have long strings of long abandoned systems as people go outwards?
It kind of seems like once you built it up enough, it would have a self-sustaining economy. But it's like if you tried to just do like the one star, and it depends like what certain systems can hold more than others, and might have more resources. Like systems that have mining within them could, you put the right stations in there, the right ground settlements, and you could develop a self-sustaining mining economy or whatever, manufacturing, different economies come from the kind of choices you make as a system architect, and choosing the system that's going to facilitate what you need as well. So here, where the systems are quite densely packed, we have a lot of choice. But if somebody is going to try to spear out and make Colonia too, they got to do some planning, because you get to some place where they can't cross a gap. How far back do you have to go before you have to change your branch? You know what I mean? And start back again. That's what I was thinking about when they're describing, we basically, they want people to be able to do that. It's kind of it sounds like setting the levels to the point where you really are going to want a big group, but it's also like anyone can contribute once the construction vehicles are in place, installations, I don't know what to call them, platforms. Yeah. Anyone can deliver supplies to them and help, but there's also a time limit. But I guess only on the first system, on building that primary starport, there's a time limit of 1 week.
Yeah, you have a time limit you have 24 hours to get to the claim beacon and claim it. And then you have a week to kind of get that starport buffed up. Right.
So you'll have to prepare your deliveries and be able to move however much it's going to take, which means, that also depends on what starport you build. So, probably if you pick a small primary starport, you don't have to deliver as much.
Yeah.
So that's what you do if you're a smaller faction, or if you're a crazy individual trying to do this.
Yeah. But so probably, I'm guessing it'll be like a Coriolis, because those kind of things, they just pop up and expand. They fold up and
The geometry joke.
Yes.
God.
He did it.
That's it.
I'm so proud.
It's been a great episode, guys. We're going to quit while we're ahead. Yeah, Bloom, we all only have so many hours to play. So all I'm saying is don't take my power play agents away for all this little colonization stuff, please. Please.
Listen to him. My power play agents.
Hey, I have a role in the Discord.
I
won't read it on air. But I have a role in the Discord.
Yep.
And I have responsibilities and obligations. Thank you very much.
Surprised you haven't banned yourself yet.
I still got to figure out if I could do that.
I was going to name a station after you, Daxy.
Oh, Daxy's Folly. Oh, do we get to name state, or is it going to be auto-generated?
The
Twitter UPT stuff.
The Twitch chat was aflutter with people saying, "Hey, wait, you didn't tell us how we name them."
Yeah.
But of course, it was a pre-recorded segment. So he said something about putting up possibly a forum thread again to ask questions. So on December, well, I guess it will be at some point in December. I don't know what day. There will be one more stream this year, but it will be a pre-recorded production. But he's going to see about possibly including a set of questions in that or something.
What they'll do for the sake of some integrity and not letting people just type dicks into the system name is they'll give an approved list of words and names that you can select from. But that will result in one of my favorite Mad Libs, but one of my favorite things of all time to show people's their ingenuity for depravity in the game Elden Ring. They have an approved list of words, but then the most popular message by far becomes people typing tri-finger butthole. And it's like our ingenuity knows no bounds if it leads to depravity.
But we have this database of stations that can't have the same name, so
that's true.
Who's gonna get it?
Yep.
Yeah, but there are stations that have the same name.
Really?
It's going to be
station.
Tell me one.
Well, I'd have to go find them, but I've seen a few of them that they were just the same name, but they're like on other ends of the bubble from each other and stuff.
Yeah. Well, for all the millennials among us, we're going to have station 80085. And no one will know what that means unless you've used an analog calculator. God, I am almost 40. Wow.
You don't act like it.
Yeah, I never will.
Is there any details here that we have? Okay, so the construction ship goes in. Any players can deliver. You got to claim the beacon that appears in the new port. Blah blah blah. You're the system architect, so that's a position that player will never lose.
Never lose it. Yeah.
So the system they have for making sure people don't just like stake a bunch of claims and then abandon them is this 24-hour timer to claim your beacon, and then 7 days to fulfill the deliveries to create the first station. Any of that fails, and the system goes back up for grabs and somebody else can claim it. But after that, you've got a system that has at least one port in it. And at that point, I guess, if the architect logs off and never plays again, that's it, right? Nothing else will ever change about that system. Have they thought about that? I don't know.
Oh, the game's full of ghost player minor factions that haven't been updated in 8 years.
And they've got
carriers.
they've got a billion
Yeah.
stars. So I mean, if somebody puts their
Yeah.
little imprimatur on like one system, I don't think Rome's going to be
Not a big
burning.
deal.
I mean, it's not a
Yeah.
big deal. I mean, it's just we have less, empty systems when we're flying around the bubble, tooling around.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm thinking about it from your perspective of wanting to move the Loose Screws faction around. Like, if we run into somebody's claimed this system, you can actually still go through there, and then we'll just move our faction around after. Factions can jump further than colonization can, after
Yes.
all.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right, I'm calm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so we could, expand, but it's just, it's assuming that there's openings for us to, jump to jump or something, But yeah, we can. There's a lot of things we can do once we
There's a lot of things.
know the real mechanics of everything.
One cool thing that they showed a little bit of in video was placing ground settlements. So with the space stations, you pick from a pre-selected set of possible locations that are suitable for them. The station will go in, it'll start to be built, and it will be like basically once you fulfill the deliveries, the station will appear, but it won't have complete services yet, and it won't have spin if it's a spinning station until the weekly tick rolls around, and then everything finishes off and it goes into gear. So it'll have like a partially complete setup. So I think that'll be neat to be able to find like a Coriolis station that doesn't have spin. Sort of a cool thing. But on the ground, you pick your planet and you physically place the thing, and so you have like it is like a base building. Like, drag the thing around to put the stamp in the ground to flatten out that part of the planet and stick the thing there.
I was shocked. I fully expected a relatively underwhelming menu that you can click, like the planet, and it just the game just auto populates it. I was shocked they gave us some type of developer UI, like that has to come from something in the engine, that's what they use to place assets or something.
Planet 2025.
Yeah, it's planet.
planet.
So drop your building on top of a geyser and start Planet Poster 1.
Yeah.
Well,
I think all of these, there are pre-configured layouts, right? So we'll be choosing from the type of station and whether it's a full-fledged port or whether it's an Odyssey settlement, and you can choose all these things. And there are these predetermined layouts that we're familiar with. They have a ground stamp as well. So like you talk about putting it on a geyser, if it lets you do that, you'll be erasing the geyser. Right, because that's what, like, they discussed when Odyssey was first coming around. There were like developer stream discussions where they talked about the kind of thing, and that's why I'm using that word. I'm pretty sure they called it that. It was like a terrain stamp that's associated with the building.
Can we expand to the crystal shards and erase them?
Erase the crystal shards. That's
Can
a long
we erase
way. 10 light years. 10 light years every few weeks.
Sites?
Okay, I'll tell you what surprised me about this was I didn't expect that system, but it's because in my mind I was thinking, how are they going to keep track of all the people trying to put things on a planet? And that's eliminated because there's one system architect, right? So once you have claim to this system, that's it. You're the only one trying to put anything there, so there's no conflicts, right? So problem solved, but that's what I wasn't expecting. And there was lots of suggestion that Alec Turner is going to very much enjoy putting things on the surface of planets, and then later explicitly said, now the thing I'm trying to convey here is that the construction facility that goes in while the station is being built he thinks it looks like a racetrack.
Oh, before you add
additional
architecture to it.
And then he made the comment that, like, you just go ahead and schedule your settlement to be built and then never finish it. That construction facility is just going to stay there. because if it's not the primary port, right, it doesn't have a time limit, I guess.
This just
So-
in.
Alec,
Turner. Sorry.
Alec creates a racetrack, and then I guess somebody who wants to mess with him makes enough deliveries to close his racetrack.
That's funny. I just had like shocking news. This just in. Alec Turner interprets thing as racetrack. It's like shocking news. I interpret
To the surprise of everyone.
I interpret Rorschach test as disappointed parent. Oh my God.
Do
Wow.
buckyball race. Complete the track
Yeah.
before the building goes up.
Yeah.
Imagine the spiteful people who I mean, I don't know. Does someone out there hate races? Like,
I don't
the
think
person
anyone
who's
hates
gonna-
buckyball that
Someone
much. I mean,
must.
it's this new form of ganking, though. Like people who are trying to kick over other people's sandcastles. Somebody's gonna do it. Somebody's gonna close a racetrack.
Yeah.
I'm going to build your sandcastle.
I'll teach you. Well, perhaps
Yeah.
I read that much more combatively than it was said. But anyway,
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I, for one, am excited for Planet.
Planet 2025, because apparently he still felt the need to say that it was going to be early next year, and he's very sorry because I don't know. Did anybody think they were going to get this out this calendar year?
No.
To
Well, I think they had
at
the
11:59 on New Year's Eve.
Frankly, I was
Maybe
surprised
they
were
must have said that
delivering
at some
the fourth
point.
Ship.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, how quickly this is. What was the date? Is Type 8 available for credits now?
I think it's tomorrow, isn't it?
Tomorrow? Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. So we're recording a day early because
Yeah.
there's this holiday here and we're all going to be busy. So,
Happy
yeah, okay.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
All right, gents, I am being
yeah.
called away. So
Okay. Anything
I'm
else you
glad-
want to throw in here before you go?
No,
Doctor?
I'm just excited about the colonization, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And
Mhm.
I will see you guys at the next podcast.
Mhm.
All right, go
Thanks,
get your
man. See you.
tree.
Yep.
Looks like the doctor's taking a house call. That was stupid.
Gross.
That was stupid.
Sounded better in your head.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Well,
Yeah.
thumbs up, thumbs down. What's
Well,
Thumbs
there
up.
goes all the source of all the good information.
I watched it too. I wrote it all down. Whatever. I just wanted to
wish
give
I could
somebody
have.
else to do some of the talking around here
Yeah.
because I hate that I talk so much. Anyway,
well, we
then
like
why don't you
listening.
just shut up? I wonder.
Yep.
It's
I
those
wonder.
pregnant pauses of silence that get you every time.
I know I'm lured in.
Oh God. Boy, are my
Well,
arms tired. Well, I
exactly.
think we've covered the squadron. I think we've covered
Yeah,
covered
I think it
colonization.
seems like a pretty good layout they've got here for this.
Yeah.
It seems reasonable. I'm sure some of those numbers will be tweaked, and like the whole idea of it being this massive thing, it did have me kind of thinking like, so they've worked this year and specifically called out during their little year recap here at the beginning that they've worked hard to reduce the grind, otherwise known as valuing players' time. And then they're installing this thing where they're like, and it's going to take a lot of deliveries. Oh my goodness, this is going to take a lot of deliveries.
They got an open letter from Operation Ida. They're like, oh my gosh, these guys are upset. We got to give them something to do. they took time to write us a letter. I think though, I think the difference is community goals give everyone like the whole player base can participate in a thing. But this lets you put your name on what is essentially a community goal for every system. So I think just as far as the psychology of the game, I know from having been part of Loose Screws for so long, when your name is on something, it's just different. Even if it's just the mechanics are exactly the same. It's like you pick a soccer team to like, all of a sudden it's much more interesting. You're not just like some passive
Right. Yeah.
observer.
It's your
So I
tribe.
think they got to be banking on that a little bit, and I think they've been compiling numbers for a year and a half with the Thargoid War, and they see what people can do and what game loops they're into, and I I'm so pleased with Power Play. I know that they have been watching us and they're doing things that they know are going to interface well with the player base. I just if they can, hit another home run with colonization, good on Frontier, because I'm happy as is. If colonization didn't show up, I would be happy. But I think they're just layering it on more, and it's going to give everyone that isn't so invested in all the PvP or the tug of war that is Power Play. It gives them another way to put their own mark in the bubble and expand it. So I'm excited for it.
Cool.
Yep.
Wasn't it? Didn't they state that colonization would be unaffected by Power Play or vice versa?
No, I
It's
think they
not
said
that-
it would dovetail together.
Yeah, I mean everything. All
Yeah.
the systems are connected, is what they said. It's
Yeah.
not unaffected. It's the other way around, right? Because Power Play is affected by system economy in the sense that like certain bonuses are available or not available based on the system economy, right? That has some kind of subtle effect. Or
'cause
maybe
if you architect a system in any of the Power Plays reach, as soon as that system comes online,
they can move into it.
sure, why not?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, they directly said like Power Play and BGS can move into it. It'll start with the one faction. But then there are 6 other slots ready to be filled, and I guess
for
a
all the-
power vacuum.
For all the gameplay options they're throwing at us, this is not going to be a rapid expansion.
No.
Because
No.
you've only so many hours to play, and if you can make the system, but Power Play can also expand into it, it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's. Oh God, they've given us another grind. No,
That's what I'm saying.
it's like this is going to take forever to expand the bubble.
I do agree. It is
Yeah.
going to be a fascinating social experiment here to see just what it ends up being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
the shape of the galaxy is literally in our hands for the first time. Oh no! You know that? Oh my God! You know
We'll
the
make
guys.
it implode.
No. Yeah, it's again.
Oh, no.
Ingenuity knows limits.
Yeah,
No
I
limits
see
when
where
it
you're
comes to
going.
gravity. You
Drawing
guys know the
dicks.
dates.
Pictures.
Someone's
Talking
gonna
about drawing dicks, right?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like those explorers. Some dude drew like a 10,000 light year diameter one. Someone's gonna do it in Settle
So
System.
that's the thing is it'll be the first person.
no!
You got to get out to a region of space where you could. You need it to look like something on the Gal map, right? So you need to
Yeah.
get to unpopulated systems, and then you need to populate them one by one.
Oh my God, it's gonna take.
So then you could
years.
turn on your population filter, and
Oh my God. What
Well,
have they done?
buy paint jobs, everybody. You got to keep the game
Yeah.
going if you want to see a dick in the Milky Way.
That's it. Take your screenshots now if you want them to be clean from here on out. Oh my God.
Well,
Well, they bless their hearts. They had good intentions.
Show title, by the way.
this is what it's. You wonder what's going to happen because it requiring a very large effort. You can't just have this one person doing the thing. But if you get a bunch of people together who are committed to something,
Yeah.
you could get a dick out there.
If that's the motivation, I'm sure you could get a not insignificant percentage
Honestly,
of the player base.
Picture it though. You're like, we want to start our own bubble, and we're gonna do this, and we're this faction, and we support this power. We're gonna start our own bubble, and please come join us, okay? And then over into this other room for pitch B, we want to draw a dick. Who do you
Hear me out,
join?
guys. We're gonna draw a dick. Sign me up. Oh God.
One of those has an argument on their hands trying to get signups.
Yeah. The other one just sells itself.
The other one does not. We're drawing a dick.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Yeah.
So there's an update coming tomorrow. It is going
Yeah.
to be 1902, And it has a couple of, so with the weekly maintenance, basically it's going to be extended a little bit for about 3.5 hours. They're planning. What do we got? This is when the Mandalay cause. Okay, so this is where we both read this. Mandalay gets Midnight Black and Void. Yay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Although personally, I've kind of stopped buying. I like flashy paint now. I've stopped buying them, but I do like the Void is kind of the flashy version of dark paint. But anyway,
is this the Elite Dangerous Midlife Crisis?
Me?
Yeah. It
was a few years ago. I haven't bought any Midnight Black in years. I used to dress my mom up all. Peacocking, I think, is what the kids call it. Yeah.
What the biologists call it.
You did say Mamba, right?
Yeah, but that's just. I was just trying to illustrate how long ago.
I heard mom and was going, what?
Oh. Yeah, snakes.
Yes.
So, also in this update, an inbox message is being added to remind people to complete their initial power play assignments in order to be eligible for ranking.
No.
Or no, wait, is it the opposite of that? Wait, I'm reading this whole sentence.
No, so you would continually
get.
I thought also you would continually get a message, and it would just keep showing up new again.
Oh,
I've
had
it a bunch of times.
This message, reminders to complete initial assignments in order to be eligible, will no longer be sent if one of these is already in the inbox. Okay, never mind. These were already in the inbox. People were just ignoring them.
Yeah.
The constant power play cycle imminent thing seems to have gone away for me. But that was before this update. And then, curiously, Ramtaw has made further technical advances, and the tactical core chip is no longer required as part of the recipe for anti-Guardian Zone resistance. Conveniently, about 2 weeks before.
Okay.
Well, it's because are there any Spire sites left?
No, there aren't.
No, there are
gone.
not. So
couldn't you get them on some ground?
Yeah, places where Revenant still were, but this thing is quickly running out of anywhere it controls. In fact, didn't we just say that only 2 are populated, 1 Odyssey settlement? So as of right now, there's only 1 place in the entire galaxy where you could get a tactical core chip. And they thought of that and are patching it before anyone has the need for them and no ability to get them, almost like they play their own game.
Cornering the market.
Almost like they play their own game. Hear that, Reddit? Do you hear that?
I'm going to write a letter.
Almost like they play their own game. You know, am I out of touch that I never even heard of the tactical core chip till right now when it's being patched out?
Well, it wasn't super relevant. So it's a. Is this serious? Do you want me to tell you what?
No. So was it? So I know that there was the way you could get the anti-Guardian. Was it weapons? But they sucked.
What
they were like really bad.
Are you talking about?
I'm way out of touch.
Ramtaw made up engineering for Guardian modules.
Yes.
At first, I think it was just Gauss cannons or something like that.
Yeah.
And at first, it would reduce their damage by 20%.
That's
so
what
it was like
it
a trade-off. And then parentheses due to player outcry because it was fucking stupid. They removed the 20% damage penalty.
Oh, okay. So I never knew they removed the penalty. I was under the
and then
wipe,
hand wave something into Ramtaw gets good at his job. Okay. And then hand wave Ramtaw gets good at his job again. Now it can be done to any Guardian module, and it's a big deal. And we all got excited, and a bunch of us ran out and farmed a bunch of these things, which are pretty tough to get because you got to get them from broken Revenant. And then which I guess should have been obvious and was obvious to a lot of people, but not to me, the modified Guardian guns, the Salvation ones, couldn't be modified again, which I guess is just sort of a core mechanic of the game now, but that seems stupid. But anyway, so I have a bunch of them that I never used because I farmed them up, and then right before I went to spend them, I realized you couldn't. And I was sort of miffed for a second, but then whatever. It doesn't matter because ultimately, what can you do with this? You can immunize large shard cannons and technically get higher damage on Titan cores. And they're really not useful for anything else.
Yay.
So
very niche.
And I don't care because like I one run at a Titan core and I'm usually over 6 million. So like it's literally meaningless to me. So I never messed with it, but obviously the people who are really still doing most of the Titan bashing went ahead and made Shardacondas with, or I don't know which ship has the most. Gosh, I guess it's Python 2 now, isn't it? Python 2 would be able to do more damage than even a large ship with that loadout. Anyway, yeah, so that's what you do, and you can do 12 or 15 million damage per run, because the Thargoid core has effectively an armor rating of 0 or maybe 1. I don't think we can tell the difference between 0 or 1 in the damage math, but technically the lowest armor rating of any object in the entire Elite game, which makes shards the most effective weapon because they have the lowest armor pen of any AX gun, but very high damage. So anyway, the tactical core chip. Yeah, I mean,
alas, we knew thee not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever, maybe I still get my wish. And I know the Thargoids aren't going away, but I was kind of hoping that the anti-Guardian field was going away, because that seems to have served its plot purpose and to be done now that the Thargoid War is going to be over, so we'll see.
I'll place your bets now. Did the Titans go away forever? Or do they not waste all those development resources and put them somewhere else?
Well, here's
the question.
My joy and my dream is still that the Guardians rise up as controlled by Salvation, and we have a 3-way war, or maybe we have to team up with the Thargoids. At which point, yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah.
But at that point, I mean, an anti-Guardian field would be pretty great. Right?
And did you feel that Piers Jackson maybe foreshadowed a little bit on Salvation? He had one comment that if you wanted to parse
I must have missed
several ways, you could sit there and say, hey, that's not over yet. I forget how he said it or how to paraphrase it, but it did sound like, hey, we're not done with Salvation. So
the line I wrote down was, if you think Thargoids are coming to an end, watch the socials.
Yeah, that was the end. It was a different thing. That was at the very beginning when Pierce was talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I had no doubt in my mind that the Thargoids weren't going to end, but this war mechanic of battling Titans and stuff we're over it. So that's clearly going to end, right? They wouldn't be silly enough to pop up some more Titans or something, right?
8 more.
Yeah,
I think you guys like Titans. I heard you guys like Titans. You want some more Titans? No.
Yeah, or what if the last one it's down to its last heart, and then it pulses green or something, and everyone gets repulsed, and Ramtah's like, oh no, now we gotta collect a bunch more Guardian stuff and build a new pulse neutralizer.
God.
Do you think everybody would just be like, I think I'll go play Power Play?
I think I'll ignore this with
expanding out of the bottle.
With the similar yet more detailed and engaging gameplay you've now offered me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I still have Anti-Xeno, but after 8 Titans, it's like, okay.
Right.
Okay,
right.
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Though.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm getting my.
I went on vacation and I missed one of them, so I can never get the full 8, and I immediately stopped caring about the rest of them.
Oh, so if they did pop up another Titan, you'd be like, all right.
Oh, fuck. That's what gets me, huh? Fucking Frontier. I know it. We're like little hamsters on a wheel. They're like, okay, well, here's another wheel. Whee!
Daxie got banned from the decals.
God. Yep. Well, I'm sure I'll break a term of service someday and get banned from the actual game. But that is not this day.
Is there anything else you guys want to fit into this particular podcast? Do we know anything about the next Buckyball race? I certainly haven't heard anything.
I have not heard anything either.
Okay.
Is it going to be in a half constructed colonization settlement?
Not until early next year.
There we go. Not until 11:59 on New Year's Eve. They got it in.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess the next big thing is going to be 10th of December. Excitement.
Mm-hmm. Much excitement.
And there was much excitement. Okay, well, thanks for listening, everybody. You know what to do. Links in the notes. I will grab that. In fact, I'm going to open YouTube right now, so remember to grab that link. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this very early episode of the Loose Screws podcast. It's very one day early because of reasons. And that's it.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, say goodbye.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Join
Bye.
the home. Bye.